What's going on, guys? It's Chris, the Hickory Algorithm, coming to you for another one with the love of the game. Very special show we got today, man. Very special show we got today. We got Ernie from Trial by Fire. I've only spelt it trail, I don't know how many times.
Once, twice.
But, yeah, I'm so happy to have him here today, man. One of my favorite bands, Journey. A lot of people cover it. A lot of people don't cover it like they do, man. And so thank you for coming, man. I appreciate
My pleasure, Chris. Thanks for having me.
One of the main reasons why I asked Ernie to be here is because since 1996, when Trial by Fire, the album came out, I have been dying to talk to somebody about this Journey album because it feels like it's lost along the way. And when I moved to Hickory about a year and a half ago and I saw the band called Trial by Fire, I had to go see them. And I had to reach out to Ernie, and we had to have a conversation. So coming here and sitting here to talk about this is really, 25 years in the making, man. You don't even know it.
I love it.
But, man, how did you get started? Just your love of Journey?
Well, I was going through a very tough time in my life, going through a divorce, and I didn't even know. I loved Journey. I always loved Journey, but I hadn't really listened to them in a long time. And I used to play a little guitar, so my family went back home for the holidays and left me in the house by myself. And I got out my guitar and started playing the guitar a little bit, singing some Journey songs. And the more I sang them, the more I thought it sounded pretty good. And so I went across the street to the neighbor, played them a song, and they're like, "Wow, you sound like the guy from Journey." And I was like, "Wow, okay, that's
high praise."
That's what I was going to say, high praise. So that's where it kind of got its start in 2007.
Wow, man. So what was the song you played for him? Do you remember the one?
I played the song Lights for them. Key
really?
D,
that was the first
original
one?
key. Just started playing the chord progression and started singing, and I could see their faces like physically change, and I was like, either I'm hurting their ears or it's good. So the next thing was that I contacted a band on Craigslist, and they had some Journey in their set list, and I said, I don't want to be in your band. I just wonder if I could come by sometime and sing the Journey songs that you guys do. And the guy was like, yeah, we have nobody scheduled to come audition, so come Friday. This is the Friday after Thanksgiving, so this is like 2 days after playing the guitar for my neighbors. I go down.
So
and they did Separate Ways, Don't Stop Believing, and Faithfully. And so I brushed up on them, made sure I knew the words. Because I said, it's been a while since I'd really listened hardcore to Journey. They were my teenage love band. I just loved them so much through my teenage and early 20s. And I was like in my mid-30s. And it had been like 10 years. So I brushed up on the songs and then went to this audition, and it was very cut and dry. 4-man band, keys, guitar, bass, drums, and a microphone. And he goes, let's start with Separate Ways. And they went into it, and it felt like live band karaoke for me because I was like, this is so wild because you could barely hear yourself. So I'm just like, it's a room smaller than this with a drum kit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just singing my heart out, and we get to the end of it. The guy goes, let's do Don't Stop. I'm like, okay, so we'll start playing Don't Stop Believing, and I hit my mark, sing the song. They finished. They looked kind of at each other, kind of funny, and I'm like, he goes, you want to do the last one? I'm like, yeah, Faithfully. So he used the piano player. He just started rolling into Faithfully, and I sang my heart out. Had a blast doing it. It was fun. And when we got to the end of it, he said, and I'll edit this as for all television and all audiences, but he basically said, you got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah.
And I said, what? I'm sorry. I apologize. And he said, you're in some kind of Journey tribute band, and you thought you'd come down here and punk us, right? I'm like, no, what's that? I didn't even know what a Journey tribute band was. And they basically explained it to me, and I said, oh, yeah, that sounds like fun. I should do that.
Yeah, we should.
And then, so I went looking for musicians on Craigslist and put together a garage band. And I lived in one of those communities where the houses were very close to each other. So on the message board, somebody wrote, there's somebody on my street that really likes Journey because every Sunday that's all they play. And it was my band rehearsing. So I posted, come by next Sunday, and I opened the garage doors, and we put a 1-set, like a 10-song set show on for the people who were walking their dogs. So that's their humble early beginnings of it.
So how did you find, last time I saw you, man, you're Neil Sean. How did you find, like, those guys?
Dan Cummings is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, previously to having Dan, we had a local Charlotte musician named Scotty Jordan who left the band for health reasons, and he was a fan favorite. So I was like, how am I going to top this guy?
Yeah.
Now, Scotty was more of a, like he could easily have fit into like a Southern rock band. He had that Southern rock kind of sound. So every now and then he'd stray off the Neil Sean path. But he made up for it with his personality. He was such a great showman. But he pulled me aside one day and he said, hey, I got to get off the road. I can't do this anymore. I've got a full-time job. I've got a family. And he had a health problem that he had to deal with. And I'm happy to say that he's in full remission.
That's what's up.
But I never say to people, you know, I'm not. If you don't want to be here, or if you can't be here, I don't want you to stay. When your time to leave comes, I'll thank you and move forward if I can. And so we put out feelers for musicians, and we put a rehearsal together at a studio in Charlotte, and we had like 6 guitar players come, and Dan was the first one, and our piano player had seen him play in a country band. So
Really?
We should.
He was in a country band?
Yeah, like bro country, you know that.
Yeah, dude,
you know, where the guitar solos are very short and sweet. But something about his tone stuck with my piano player, and he's like, "Yeah, we should invite that guy. He'd be good." So he shows up. He's the first one who takes a whack at it. And what does he audition with? He auditions with Mother Father, one of the most integral and difficult songs to sing and perform as a band, and he knocked it out of the park, like first try, like he wrote the song, and the tones were perfect, the solo was perfect, and he just had that rocker look to him. So I was like, man, this guy's the package. So then I had to sit through 5 other people that didn't do as good. Had one guy show up and played the solo to Oh Sherry.
Really?
And I'm like, I can play the solo to Oh Sherry.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah. But it made for a long day, even longer, because I had already made up my mind that I wanted the first guy.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah, that makes me like. I was so happy when you go see cover bands. Sometimes it can feel like it's the same set list every time. Mm-hmm. So whenever we were at, I think it was the Hum was where we were at when you were playing, and he goes, and you said we're gonna play one that we want, and he ripped in the Mother Fall, and I was like, yes, and it was great. But it makes sense that you said that was what he did. Like he's like, this is the first impression of him. So that makes it even cooler. Yeah,
he likes. I mean, like, we all like the B-sides a little bit more than the hits, and that's because we don't play them as often, and they're usually on a more difficult scale level. You know, they're usually Journey would write songs, and they go like, oh yeah, the audience will dig this, but the deep cuts are for the fanatics, the fans of the band. You know, that just eat it up. You know, like I love all the songs on the B-side of the Escape album. Escape, we do that song, and then I would love to sing "Lay It Down" one time. Would be a great song.
Dude, I gotta go back and listen to that. Like you're talking about it, I'm like, man, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
The B-sides too.
Flip that record over and just listen to it. It's as good as, and I think that's what was Journey's plan is they would write A side would be for the radio and B side would be for the musicians, the deep cut guys. Yeah.
Well, man, and it grabbed me. You said those kind of things where it's the B-sides, and that brings me back to Trial by Fire. And you guys were Trial by Fire, and when that album came out in 96, my kids call that the 1900s. That's what they say.
The 1900s.
Yeah, and they're not
back
wrong.
When
which even
horses pulled our wagons.
Yeah, and I'll never forget. I got that album. Trial by Fire, Journey is back together. They're back together. And then you see the cover of the album, and you're like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
And then, but that in 96, you could buy the CD, open it up, read the booklet, feel that what the artist wants you to see is in there.
It was like a gift box.
Yeah.
You'd open up the album, it was a treasure trove. The liner notes with who they'd thank, and they'd always be like these, who's Squirrel? You know, they're thanking a guy named Squirrel. Who's Squirrel? You know, he's probably the sound guy on the tour or something, you know.
And you didn't even know any of the songs either. Like now a band releases an album and you know 4 songs, 5 songs before the album even comes out. So when the album comes out, it's like you're getting that side, maybe.
Yeah, I would get the album fresh, cut the plastic off it, pull the sleeve out, put the record on the thing, grab the words, and just read along as Steve Perry sang every song. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool part right there. I got to remember that. I got to go back and listen to that one again. That was cool. And then I'd also play A&R guy like, oh, that's a B-side. That's that one, no. And the problem with Trial by Fire is it didn't come out on an album. You could only get Trial by Fire on an LP or a CD. No, I'm sorry, it didn't come out on an LP. It's the only Journey record to this day not released on an LP.
Have they ever like
No.
re-released it or
Nope,
anything?
nothing.
There's another album.
The CD and CD cassette. That's all it's ever come out on.
So I got to find my CD when I get home,
Yeah.
man. I really do.
I had the cassette, and you'd like get out like to read the lyrics on the thing. It was printed out. It's so small.
Yeah, and that thing had to fold out too. That was
Oh, yeah,
like
it
an
folded out
accordion
like this.
coming out.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
But man, I tell you what, I went back and listened to when you wanted to come on.
Yeah.
And I went back and listened. I listened to that thing all weekend, man. Message of Love.
Yeah,
I mean,
great
do you
song.
guys?
Yeah,
have
we
you
just
guys really started
we're-
dabbling
we're,
with that stuff.
We're adding that to our show.
Dude, what's up?
It's like
Let's
coming
go.
up, and I'm actually hoping to add it to our show either Friday or Saturday this week.
Yeah. So I've had you guys in my newsletter. I have events.
I saw
in
that.
the local
I
area.
saw that. Yeah.
And I have you guys as the feature event in Charlotte. I'm going to mispronounce the place.
Oh, the Visualite.
Visualite.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I've never
Visualite.
been there, and it was
It's
like
a great little theater. It really
yeah.
is.
Is it sort of like Premiere-ish?
It's
Or is it-
smaller than Premiere.
Really?
It has more seating than Premiere, and they don't charge extra for the seating, so you don't have to get a VIP. It's sort of like a tri-level, like think like an old movie house. Up on the top tri-level is where the bar area is, and then it goes down a level, and there's some tables and chairs, and then there's a big open pit in front of the stage, and then the stage is at the far wall. So for the older folks, they get there a little early, can sit in a chair. And if the spirit moves them and they want to get down and be close with the band, they can do that too. So it's all these venues, I don't ever want to sound like I like one more than the other, because I'm just happy they want to have us all. I love the Premiere. I love all these venues for different reasons, and that's what makes it fun for me.
Yeah.
It's a different vibe every weekend, and so I get to enjoy that vibe. And I get to return. I'm like, oh yeah, the Visualite. We usually go have dinner before the show, like right next door. And
Yeah, have like a
I'll hang
whole
out. Yeah, it's a nice
a whole
little-
ritual of
Yeah.
how you do things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it
dude, that's-
becomes part of the show. It's just nice. You know?
So you're thinking Message of Love? You're thinking
Yeah, I
that
would
you'd-
love to
on-
rip that one off. That would
Man,
be great.
that's song one, guys.
Yeah.
So I'll have a link in the description on YouTube of their site with the tour dates and
Oh, thank
things.
you.
But I'm definitely gonna put the Trial by Fire link to. So if you want to hear what we're talking about,
Oh, yeah.
Man, it really.
If you're a Journey fan, it's a fun album. If I had to say anything bad about it was in the time where the CDs took over LPs. So I'll give you an example. Journey's most popular album is called Escape, and there's only 10 tracks on it. But Trial by Fire was released in the CD era, and it has 17 songs on it. So in the old days, you'd have a guy called the AR person who would listen to your record and go, junk, 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 hit, and he'd pick the 10 songs that would go on the album. He worked for the record label. But when the CD era came out, just pile all that
Just
shit
put it all on there, yeah.
Give them more than they're paying for. And
Yeah.
so there's a couple of songs that are like, oh, okay, that's a good song. It's all right. Like, I mean, I couldn't really think of one off the top of my head, but Still She Cries. I love the song Still
Dude,
She Cries.
that's
With the
I had to
dobro guitar.
I wrote them all down.
Yeah.
Like I when I was sitting here, I was like, I need to know because I couldn't find my album, which I gotta find. But like, Trial by Fire. But man, I tell you what, some of Neil Sean's best guitar work.
Great work, yeah.
I listened to When I Think of You. There's that beautiful soaring kind of build, like that classic kind of journey.
Yeah.
And man, when I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the solo. But when that solo hits, it takes you like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
You go down, you go up, and I feel like it's some of his best work that
Yeah.
he's put out there, and that no one has any idea about that song at all or that work.
I think one of the things that sets Journey's music apart from other bands of their era is they tend to be very cinematic songs. That's why Steve Perry was never a fan of a video, because once you put a video out, that's the image people have of the song. But if you just let them listen to the record, they get to be the director, and they get to picture the story and see the scenes. And like you said, you saw a roller coaster. It's like
I
a
did,
roller coaster.
yeah.
The first song I ever heard that apply to was Still They Ride off of Escape, and it's about an old biker who just doesn't fit in anymore. And he still rides his bike up and down the main streets, and he's still out there riding his bike. He's still there. He's living his life and remembering the good times. And
Yeah.
times have changed. you know.
And
but-
it hits you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just
And
rings-
I could just
Right.
picture the streets of some small California town with the streetlights reflecting off the wet ground, and the bike just goes on by, and it's.
That's what makes music.
It's the same
just-
thing with that.
Yeah.
It's just their music does that.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and then you look at Message of Love. One more I was listening to. That was one I would skip, but man, it's hard to like once you start getting into it. If you don't skip it in the first 5 seconds,
Yeah.
that thing you're
Once it
playing-
gets you, it gets you.
Yeah, yeah.
That little string thing, like and wicked prophets.
Yeah.
Like,
Kill.
You're like, okay, maybe I'll skip that one. I'm not feeling that one today.
just
but-
by speaking his name.
Just by speaking his name. And you're like, oh, I know what happened here. They were going through the songs, and Neil's like, can we have a rock and roll tune, please? I want to jam out, man. I want to hear those drums, And so, like, okay. And Steve's doing his best to, like, sound rocker, But as he got older, his voice got a little thinner, and that's why the ballads were more in his wheelhouse.
I think the next song was their big hit too. Like it's
Yeah.
just funny how they put that song one more, and then they put. Because I feel like every rock band song 3 is the ballad, right?
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
it feel that way?
Yeah,
like
usually.
But when you love a woman, that was a huge.
Yeah, Steve Perry wrote that song on his way to Jonathan Cain's house. He wrote it in 30 minutes. He had all the lyrics in his head, and Jonathan Cain opened the door, and he goes, let's go right to the piano, and let's finish this thing off. I've got it. And they worked out the structure and how it would go, and 30 minutes later, they had one of their biggest hits.
Man, Jonathan Cain, dude. He's
Oh, yeah.
another guy that could just play rock
Mhm.
keyboard. Like, he could just play rock piano, man. He really could. And then after that, you go into like these are my 2 favorite. If You Should Break Your Heart, which just reminds me is After the Fall. It sort of sounds like, but it's different.
I like that. I like that bridge part. In my soul, I say goodbye yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of switch the call and response. At first, it's Steve, and the band backs him. And then the next section, they do the call, and he does the response. It's really,
It
really
is,
cool layout.
Yeah,
I always want to do that song just to try to do that bridge. But unfortunately, it kind of drags a little bit, and we have a lot of slow-paced songs. We got some songs in our set now that we play too fast because we don't want them to be ballads. We want to.
What song would you say?
I think we do "I'll Be Alright Without You" way too fast.
Yeah.
We do it at like maybe like 120, 125, and it should be bum 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 da da da, and we're like bum bum da da da. da
I dug it, dude.
da, da, da. I've been thinking about that. You're like, oh my god.
Well, another one, since we're talking about it, but I think that if you take every Journey cover band and you had to rank them by one song, if you just cut and dry, it's Any Way You Want It. Because that one you can get, it can be slower, or you can really turn that Bunsen burner up if you want to fire through that song.
Well, you know what my take on "Any Way You Want It," great song. Phil Lynott actually helped them write the song. Steve and Neil, they didn't have John in the band yet. They're the 2 chief songwriters on tour with Phil Lynott and his band. And he had a thing about writing songs with rhyming schemes. And so she loves to laugh, she loves to sing, she does everything. She loves to move, she loves to groove, she loves the loving thing. And so, like, without that, it wouldn't have happened. And in fact, Neil wanted to drop the song because it was so thin in the lyrical part. But Greg Raleigh saved that song, the then keyboard player, because he put a Hammond B3 behind it and filled up all the gaps. And so it made it a fuller song, and so it made the album and a great hit. My one caveat I say about that song is it's probably the easiest Journey song to sing, because a lot of cover bands, not tribute bands, cover bands, just area bands, if they do a Journey song, it's that one. Or they murder Don't Stop Believin' or drop it into a lower key. But it's in the key of G, so that first part, she loves the left, she loves the sing, it's kind of low in the register. You just have to get up the next part. So
I just, some bands I see that it's a slower, like, but like, man, you hear, we talked about this before we hit action, was just how good of a live band Journey was.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Where people, there's bands that are studio bands, and that's okay. But, man, when you hear, like, if I were to listen to a Journey album, it's either Trial by Fire or I'm going to that live album.
Oh, Captured?
Is it the one where it looked like it was Trial by Fire art, like where they're sitting there?
Oh, you're thinking about the second live album. Yeah, Journey Live. That's what that's called. Yeah, that one is a when Jonathan Cain was in the band. They have 2 live albums. One was released in 1979 called Captured. It was basically a collection of all the Greg Raleigh era hits. You should give that a listen.
I will.
Yeah, Journey Captured. It was sort of like an end cap to Greg Raleigh's time in the band, because the very next album was Escape with Jonathan Cain taking his place.
Right.
And Greg Raleigh actually picked Jonathan Cain to be in the band. They were on tour together.
Oh, jeez, dude.
John Cain was in a band called The Babies with John Waite. I don't know if you know John Waite from Missing You. Was his big release. But he was in a band called The Babies, and they were opening for Journey. And Greg Raleigh was just tired of being on the road. He had been on the road with Santana, and went right into Journey. So he was like, I can't do this anymore. And he goes, but that guy can.
That guy.
And then he came on to Escape, Jonathan Cain that is, and wrote every song on the album. I mean, he has a writing credit on every song on the album.
Dude, he's on
so
the road.
that tells you. And he said that what he brought to Journey is Journey was writing songs for the audience, and he came in and started writing songs about the audience so that they could relate more to the songs.
And that little change.
Yeah.
Escape
Really
is what,
Amazing.
half the set, if not more than half the set, right? I mean, like every Journey band, like most
I
of
think
the
there's 2 songs on the album we don't play.
Well, he definitely did Mother and Father.
Yeah, I think the 2 are Dead or Alive and Lay It Down. Those are the 2 that we don't play. We haven't played Keep On Running in a long time, but we used to be in our set.
Yeah. So do you tour? Do you go all year when you guys do a tour, or do you just do from June to August? Do you have a rhyme or reason of how that goes?
I try to keep the holidays quiet, like November, late November to New Year's Eve. But I booked a New Year's Eve show this year, so the band will probably be mad at me for that. But that's okay. And then usually, the season starts kind of slow. You have to focus more on indoor venues for January and February.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually by spring, you've got the indoor shows and you've got the outdoor shows. So one day you're outside sweating in the sun, the next day you're in the air conditioning. So I try to get into more theaters than the outdoor shows. Those are very taxing on the band and me as a singer. It's just
the outdoors.
Yeah, you start seeing dead relatives at some point. Like, Nana, you got any cookies?
So whenever you go into a tour, or you're going to start thinking about doing shows, when does the conversation start with, hey guys, or is it constantly like, hey guys, let's try this, hey guys? Like you said, also Forever in Blue with Trial by Fire, and you're thinking about doing that song. It's like, how does that come up? Or just like, hey guys, want to give this one a go?
I designed a T-shirt, which I got one for you in the car. I'm going to get it to you at the end of the conversation. I designed a T-shirt last year, and it was blue, and every time we do a blue logo, I can't keep the shirts in stock. Something about North Carolina loves the color blue. And I just said, something? They love blue so much, I should just forever in blue. I should just keep a shirt blue from now on. And I just, let's call this year Forever in Blue. And then, someone called me out immediately and said, so does this mean you're going to play Forever in Blue?
Wasn't me. It wasn't me.
It was.
I thought about it. I want to let you guys know that I thought about it because I was like, should I reach out? But
and we're terrible at learning new songs. We put it off. What we do is we all do our homework, and then we get together at sound check and run through it once, twice, 3 times, and if we like it, we add it to the set. And we've been working on 4 new songs. We added The Party's Over back to our set. We had not played it with this iteration of the band, and people keep yelling for it. So I'm like, it's a simple enough song. So we added that one back, and then Forever in Blue was next on the list, and it's almost there. It's like 90%, 92% there. And it's just, we're just perfectionists. We're hard on ourselves. We want it to sound like we're not trying. And the problem is if you don't know a song back and forth, up and down, you got to try a little bit.
Right.
So you want it to look like it's effortless. And until it's effortless, it'll stay off. And then we also got Suzanne we're bringing in from Raise on Radio, and the number 1 track from Trial by Fire, Message of Love.
yeah, that's awesome, man. So is there a potential that Forever in Blue for Friday, or is that still far
I'm
away?
hoping Friday. I really feel like, the great thing about the Visual Aid is we get there a little early. There's no audience allowed in until like 7:30. And so we're there, we get set up, and then once we run one song, we usually do separate ways for the sound guy to make sure he's got the levels right. Then we can mess around for an hour if we want to.
That's
So
awesome.
we're going to run through all those songs and see which ones we can add to the set.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming by, dude.
Oh,
This
yeah.
was awesome, man. Got to talk a little Trial by Fire, talk a little Journey. I mean,
Anytime. This
it's
is
a
what
good
I
day.
do. This is what most conversations with me sound like. So.
Well, this is Chris, the Hickory Algorithm. Ernie, thanks for coming by, man. Trial by Fire. See you on Friday down in Charlotte.
Friday in Charlotte at the
Hopefully
Visual Light.
today, the day this comes out, so that way we can do a nice feature in the newsletter and really pump you guys up, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys were a big reason for our optimism moving to Hickory. You guys don't even
that's
know.
awesome. That
Like
makes
we looked at the farmers market, we looked at shows, we looked at things like, because we're big into music, and when we saw you guys perform, you were underlighted, highlighted, and we followed you, and we had you. Once we moved into the house, we needed to go see Trial by Fire.
That's awesome.
That's serious. Like, that's...
And that's the reason why I want to keep doing this, is I realize that the music, it's not about me, it's about the audience. It's this music allows me to meet new people and change their lives for the better, even if it's on the smallest such thing as something to do on a Friday night.
Yep.
You know, so that's what it's about.
That's what's up. Yeah, it's something I always say. Just for a little love of the game, like just because you love doing it, surround yourself with those people, and you'll be all right.
I agree.
So again, this is Chris, the Hickory Algorithm. Do something for the love of the game. Go see Trial by Fire. You guys have a good one.